So, that sounds quite good in the headphones. This is another video and we're going to be reviewing this, the Pyle PDMIC78, and I am going to refrain from saying the obvious joke because it's not a pile of So I've had a microphone on my computer for, well, as long as I can imagine. I guess everyone's had one if they've got a laptop. But like my desktop computer, I've always had some kind of microphone. I had a good start. I started with an AT2020 USB, but I mean, it's USB. It was giving me loads of problems because I upgraded to a nice audio interface for my DT770s, which wouldn't really work on a normal headphone socket. And yeah, suddenly the USB microphone didn't work 99% of the time because it was a different bit rate or a different sample rate to everything else. So I realised I had to get an XLR microphone if I wanted to continue using a nice microphone and continue using the audio interface. Now, I couldn't afford the AT2020. I really couldn't. So I ended up with this. This is the BM700. It kind of sounds like an okay headset microphone. So this is a test of the BM700 condenser microphone. This cost £9, including the shock mount, the windscreen. I think it came with a crappy like XLR to 3.5mm cable, which I binned, I think. But for a cheap condenser, it doesn't sound bad, but I always thought it sounded a bit much like a headset microphone. It doesn't sound amazing, and I much prefer the sound of Mr. PD Mike here. I might call you PD. We're going to call you PD, okay? Yay. As for the gain levels, I'm at about, if I had to give a percentage, I wish my audio interface had like a numbers around the edge, but for all I can say, it's probably about 70%, 75% gain that I've got on this to actually get a usable level without clipping the microphone at all. So it's not great at all. And obviously this does require, Mr. PD here does require Mr. Microphone Booster, but that microphone booster doesn't add much noise, whereas the audio interface does add a little bit of hiss when you turn it up. I can also see the background noise. We're getting around minus 50 decibels of noise, whereas this one, it wasn't even registering on the recording level. So it was below minus 60 dB of noise. So this has more background noise in it, which is you expect that. So obviously, because this microphone doesn't sound bad. It sounds like a decent microphone, but I wasn't happy with it. It needed quite a bit of gain despite being a condenser microphone with phantom power. So I started looking for a better microphone. And obviously I found the microphone everyone wanted, the Shure SM7B. Then I looked at the price tag. Yeah, I can't afford that. So I looked on YouTube at other videos and see, is there a cheaper alternative? And everyone said, get the Shure SM57. You can EQ it to sound pretty much identical to an SM7B, but to be fair, I don't think it sounded bad on its own. So that's what I was going to do. I had it in my Amazon basket and I was like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. And then I went down the rabbit hole. And I ended up shopping around and found out there is a huge clone market of the SM57. First of all, there's a lot of fakes, like just flat out fakes. They call themselves Shure on the box and they say it's a Shure microphone and it's actually a clone that doesn't sound as good. So that was a worry. And I'd rather know I'm buying a clone than attempting to buy a genuine one and ended up with a clone. So I thought, well, why not just look at the clones and find the best clone? And this is when I found this. This is the Pyle PDMIC78. So this microphone is pretty much identical to the SM57. In fact, this little windscreen thing here, I couldn't find one for the Pyle. I couldn't find one with the same dimensions, so I just put in SM57 windscreen, and I found this. It's not a genuine Shure one, it's just a cheapo one, but it fits. And there you go. It is basically an SM57, both in appearance and, well, size and stuff. It's an identical microphone, pretty much. I don't think it sounds the same, but you've been listening to it this whole time. This is a raw recording. I'm literally going from the microphone into my audio interface, no EQ. There's a limiter on my audio interface, but that's not going to affect the sound. So what you hear is what you get, including any background noise isolation. I live next to a busy main road and you probably can't hear that. In fact, I can see based on the audio levels that when I'm totally silent, I'm getting literally like minus 60 dB from this microphone when I'm totally silent. It's not picking up any background noise at all, which is sweet. And that's why I wanted a dynamic microphone, because Mr. Condenser here, not only does it sound like a headset microphone for some weird reason, it would also pick up noise from literally miles away. Now, this microphone isn't perfect. It is a dynamic microphone, and it is a fairly hard to drive microphone. It has a 600 ohm impedance, which, yeah, it needs a lot of gain to sound good. And in fact, it doesn't sound good straight into my audio interface. You have to use a microphone booster or activator, they're sometimes called, basically a little preamp, before you go into your audio interface. I'm using a Sub-Zero branded one. It's like £30, I think, and it sounds good. It doesn't have a ton of noise in it. That's the cheap solution. You could also get the, what is it called? The Fethead or something. There's lots of options out there, and that combined with the cheap price of this microphone, this costs less than like £17 on Amazon. I've just combined it with a Shure microphone clip, literally the microphone clip for the SM57. It works fine. And all in all, this whole setup has cost me less than an SM57. And I've got everything except the audio interface, but I already had that. And obviously you can use this setup with any audio interface that has XLR and phantom power. You need the phantom power for the preamp. If you have a really, really high-end audio interface, or you have like a Rodecaster or something, you probably could skip the, what is it called? The preamp thing. Because this is a dynamic microphone, it just needs more power. And my audio interface just simply could not power it. It's designed for condenser microphones. It was not designed to power a dynamic microphone. It can do it, but it doesn't want to. So yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me, this microphone. I like it.